The college football experience Dantabase top 25 rankings episode of college football talk on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code TCE SGPN. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
This is Brian Bosworth, aka The Boz, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, brother. Peace out. Boz out.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo-wee. Welcome to the college football experience. Dantabase top 25. It's early in the year. Hey, yeah, you know, you see the rankings come out, and you just say, "What the fuck is this bullshit being thrown in our face?" So I must react. Why I yell at clouds, and it's fun. YouTube.com/the college experience. Get on over there. Hit that like and subscribe button. Excited. I mean, week 3, by the way. Week 3 slate looking fire. Our picks episode will be out Wednesday night, 9 p.m. or Eastern, that is. And I mean, yeah, the week 3 slate, absolute fire. And don't forget, Biff Poggi back on the sidelines for 2 games with the Michigan Wolverines. I just became a big Michigan fan for 2 games. Beanick, now's the time to get me out there. Look, if you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, that's fair. My name is Colby Swinging Dantabase Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
Oh yeah, don't have stress. Shout out to Daquan the Great. He doesn't have stress because I know he's having a good time. We were talking in the chat. He asked me the question, the best walk-on ever. I know there's some nasty ones from like the 30s and 40s and shit, but I can't, for right now, I can't really think. The one that comes to mind is Scottie Pippen. I believe Scottie Pippen was a walk-on at Central Arkansas, if memory serves me correct. But maybe, maybe you know a better one. I don't know.
Baker Mayfield?
Baker Mayfield, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I am joined by my co-host. He is also the host of the college basketball experience, and he was just dropping episodes left and right over there. So check it out. Subscribe over there. Remember, all of our podcasts are separate feeds, and they come together as one. YouTube.com/the college experience. Give it up for Farmer Staffer at Austin P with the Governor, South Carolina with the Gamecocks, and West Virginia with the Mountaineers. Ryan McIntyre, aka Money Line Mac. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Yes, Monday, week 3 is going to be a banger. Let's talk about it.
Mac tonight. Come on, make it Mac tonight. And shout out to the chat. Rob Donaldson giving us $20 for the next helmet car fund. Yeah, so I will give some clarity if you didn't catch our reaction show. We were trying to buy this Wazoo helmet car for $800, which, I mean, I'm still interested in a way but I did find out that it does not turn on, and it does not have it. So it needs new tires, 4 new tires. It does not turn on. So you need a whole new engine and everything. And I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you got to hire a technician and mechanic with the car too. We got to talk about this. This is a great comment here.
Shout out to Delta in the chat. Fuck, my wife is bitching at me. Been on the shitter too long. She thinks I'm jerking off for cheating. Is this one coming out on podcast form? Just stay the course, brother. Stay the course. Fantastic. All right. You can't cheat if you're alone in the bathroom. All right. What do you think? What do you? Yeah. What is that? Is this phone sex? Is that still a thing?
You cheated with TCU.
Remember that back in the day in the 90s? You had those ads on the payphones outside the 7-Eleven for phone sex. I would have never called that, right? I remember Star. No. That was great. That was a great time, though. Sometimes you forget about little things like that just disappeared when that goddamn internet had to come out, and then you had to listen to idiots like me. But this is a Dantabase top 25 episode. If you are not familiar with what that is basically we like to do a real top 25 because one of the big problems in college football is the Associated Press. And I've had a chance to meet and vote at times for the Mountain West top 25 and stuff. I don't really think they know. I don't think they watch a lot of college football. So, this is our retort to that. And Tony says my UTSA pick was terrible. Yes, it was.
It was.
It lost
in that game.
That's how it works. That's how it works, brother.
Sometimes good, sometimes shit.
But I had a winning week 0. I had a winning week 1. And last week was a little bit all over the place, man. But I will say this, my win totals, it was a good week for my win totals, but a bad week ATS.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Before I show my top 25 and go one by one, I do want to just key in on did I have this up? Yeah, there it is. So the AP top 25, number 1, Ohio State, number 2, Penn State, number 3, LSU, number 4, Oregon, number 5, Miami, number 6, Georgia, number 7, Texas, number 8, Notre Dame, 9, Illinois, 10, Florida State, 11, South Carolina, 12, Clemson, 13, Oklahoma, 14, Iowa State, 15, Tennessee, 16, A&M, 17, Ole Miss, 18, South Florida, 19, Alabama, 20, Utah, 21, Texas Tech, 22, Indiana, 23, Michigan, 24, Auburn, and 25, the Missouri Tigers. And then when you do a deeper dive into this too, I mean, don't look at the votes. I'll just say that. Just on outside, it might be a little confusing. And shout out to Never Graduate. There we go. There we go. Appreciate you, Daquan. Appreciate you, man. You get some of these wacky weeks in there. I felt really good about UTSA and Tulsa. I will say I felt like both of those, I think on the SGP show, I said were the top 2 bets. And I think they made me pick a third one. And I picked Oklahoma. So I didn't have the greatest week. 1 and 3 or 1 and 2 on the top 3 plays. But that's what it is. But man, the top 25 came out. I mean, some of this shit is ridiculous. It's like if they just did the Dantabase, we've been doing the Dantabase top 25 for fucking years too. And shout out to Beanick. I know he tagged me in something with Josh Pate Cove. They're finally noticing that this is a gimmick, a ploy, nonsense. But I will make my case on why the rankings should be the rankings. But any other takeaways, Mac? I do find it hilarious that the team with the best resume. Well, we'll get to it. Is further back.
Oh yeah,
but
16 out of 25 are SEC or Big Ten. It just shows,
even though they haven't played the Big Ten or SEC yet. That's what I love is they try to say it's the great. These are the top conferences, but if they haven't played each other, that means they're not playing each other, which is supposed to be the best. I understand it when you do that, but anyway, yeah.
But it just shows preseason bias rankings really matter, unfortunately. And shout out to the Big 12. Yormark got a lot of pushback on not doing a preseason ranking, but I thought that hurt the Big 12 last year. I thought there was a bias against BYU the entire year, going 10-2, and having a win at SMU and not even coming close to the college football playoff, despite Alabama having 3 losses, and Ole Miss having 3 losses, bad losses. So yeah, I mean, preseason bias rankings are a real thing. It's one of the things that they just want you to shut up and ignore, but we're going to keep pushing back on it. You mentioned it. The team that's got the best resume is sitting at 18th in the AP poll. That's why I don't even pay attention to the AP poll, but since we're doing content on it, I did dive into it, and I kind of just laughed at it today.
Well, yeah, it matters because they brainwash. It's like they brainwash you when the college football playoff committee. Well, you'll hear Sankey say on like live TV, "Well, we've had 14 teams ranked this year." So everyone alludes to it, so it does hold weight, despite it being a complete fucking joke. So,
and I want to know how a team that's 0-1 is in the top 10. They're 0-1. They don't have a win yet this year, and they're in the top 10.
Wait. Who are we referring to right now?
Notre Dame. They're 0-1.
Yeah.
They're 0-1 on the year. And are they a top 10 team? Probably. But
they're just strictly going off of what's hilarious is like, yeah, okay, just going off the past couple years. Mm-hmm. But it's just very lazy, in my opinion. Very, very lazy. And I'll make my case on what my parameters are, especially 2 weeks in. And some people might freak out, which is fine, or not. I don't think they would freak out because this is a hypothetical, but some people might be like, what the fuck? How do you not have this in there? And, well, to me, like the only things that should really matter right now are wins on the road, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And then wins mostly against FBS opponents. I talking to some people that have votes that I've actually talked to in my life, like I know they don't watch even like the AAC often or the Mountain West often. That's why it's a fucking joke. I mean, let alone maybe even the Big 12 and ACC now for some teams, but especially the top of the FCS. Like the top of the FCS is certainly better than, like you could take the top 35 in the FCS and they're probably better than half the group of 5. Some of the we saw Charleston State just beat Army and then Army beat Kansas State. So I mean that's proof right there. But I think that you need to know ball a little bit. You should have to be required to know that as well, and that you should penalize teams that are playing, in my opinion, like the really bad FCSs that have been historically bad. But anyway, let's get into it because at number 25, I have the UNLV Running Rebels. They have an advantage, Mac. There's 2 teams that have an advantage in my top 25.
3-0.
Yeah, they've played 3 games, so we have a bigger sample size. They have played 1 game on the road, even though it wasn't really the road. But that's not their fault. Sam Houston State is not playing on campus this year. They're playing at that Shell Energy Stadium. And Sam Houston State is also winless. Idaho State, their FCS is also winless. So you might be saying, what? There's no meat on the bone. Well, they just beat UCLA from the almighty Big Ten. They never trailed in that game. And I think the fact they have 3 wins, I do not expect them to be here. Probably not even next week. But I just think right now you would have to put them there with 3 wins. And the fact that they have played on the road once again, not their fault. It wasn't on campus. And then they beat a Power 5 at home in a game they never trailed. So I have UNLV, the Rebs, at number 25. I know we hate UNLV and their fans and their 12 fans, but your thoughts on the Rebs at number 25. And by the way, their schedule looks a little easier. I think we might eat shit on this win total yet again. Because I thought Miami, Ohio would be a lot better. They're on deck.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not going to talk about the rankings just yet because I want to see who you got below them and stuff like that. But I mean, the resume is good, 3 in a row. 2 tricky road spots coming up in Oxford and then in Laramie after the bye. So if they're 5-0 going into that, then shit, then they should be in the top 10.
Yeah. Yeah. And at number 24, well, wrong way. I have the Tennessee Volunteers. This is tricky because they have a neutral, and I'm trying to look at this blindly. Neutral. I know that it was all Tennessee fans, right? But I don't think that's their problem. Like, Syracuse fans could have bought the tickets. You know what I mean? Like,
what Syracuse fans?
Yeah, my point is, like, I guess if you're going to honor a neutral as opposed to, you know, with all the other schools, you should honor the neutral the same. Mm-hmm. So that's half a road game. That's half a road game for me.
And then they did what they do. Tennessee just destroys the FCS teams, pads their stats. But yeah. Week 1 was a good win because they controlled that game. We're up 3 scores pretty much the whole way, 2-3. And scores.
At least East Tennessee State over the past, like, if you know. I know you're supposed to look at this. So this is why it's such a hard thing, and why from everyone's point of view, I think of the top 25, you're not supposed to look at last year. You're supposed to look at this year, but it's incredibly small sample size. So you have no idea who's good this year. But East Tennessee State, I can tell you this, when they schedule East Tennessee State, they've been a decent FCS. It's in state. It's little brother that will have all the reason to want to beat you. So I actually give them a little bit more weight on the FCS they scheduled than, say, now East Tennessee State could still be shitty this year. You know, they're in the middle of a coaching change, but they couldn't have known that when they scheduled that. So, but I think that is a more challenging FCS game than, say, what Florida State did or what some of these other schools have done. So yeah.
We'll find out a lot about them this week, by the way.
But I think if you're valuing the neutral, which, even though I know it wasn't that neutral, which that's becomes even a more complex way to measure this, is like, I guess you could pull up the mileage on these neutrals and then add that in there, but I'm not going. This is for a hypothetical. No. Tennessee at 24. And let's not forget, Syracuse did beat UConn, a team that won 9 games a season ago. That I think we were on their over. I know that should not factor into that, but I do believe UConn will be a 8 or 9 win team this season. But once again, you're not supposed to look at that. But I think that's a good win. I think it's a better win than what a lot of teams play in week 1 and week 2. So I think there's some validity into them beating Syracuse. At 23, I got to learn how to do this thing correctly. I have the Oklahoma Sooners. I had a hard time with this, man, because I didn't know how to evaluate Oklahoma and Ohio State. Those were the two that I really had a hard time with.
Two big home wins.
Yeah, and if anything, I think in hindsight, maybe I should have flipped Oklahoma and Ohio State here, because I'm just going to let you know I do not have the Buckeyes ranked right now, but they will be ranked right away. If you base it off resume, I mean, my thing would be that San Jose State has not won a game, so Texas hasn't beat anybody that's won a game, right? Michigan had won against New Mexico, which had also won. So that was like, okay, Oklahoma's win, even though it's just New Mexico, and we think probably San Jose State will end up better than New Mexico. Right now, New Mexico is better from a win standpoint than San Jose State. So that's why I have the Sooners at 23. They both played FCSs. That's another thing, is Oklahoma's FCS is better than Ohio State's FCS. So by a decent amount. Yeah. Sooners at 23. At 22, I'm really, really fucking this up here. I have the California Golden Bears.
Oh yeah.
They hit the road. Now, here's the problem: is I have every team that's won a road game at a Power 5 ranked. I have them ranked at the worst road win, because Oregon State is 0-2, even though they've played decent competition. But you can't give it that much weight because Oregon State's kind of in this taboo. Are they group of 5? Are they power 4? They still have a lot of guys that were on rosters from a power 4 standpoint, but Cal has looked great in both games. They played Texas Southern as the FCS for the second game. I know you can say, well, Dundee, Texas is better than Oregon State. To me, yes, you are right. If I was to bet, I would take Texas to beat Oregon State. But to me, you're just looking at what the teams have done. Have you hit the road yet? Because to me, the hardest thing to do in college football is win on the road. So a road win means a lot more than anything else. And they did blow them out too. So yeah, at 22, I have the California Golden Bears. I'm going to get to 21, but before I do that, I want to let the good folks know that the college football experience is brought to you by us. We are part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. We got 25% off everything in the merch store with the promo code football. So make sure you get over there, get yourself an Eat Shit Pit t-shirt. This is the week to get that shit, or a Pick Dundee t-shirt. Yeah, you're going to need it this week for that Eat Shit Pit t-shirt there. Get it going. Get in the pro. There's a bunch of other great shirts. Storm the field, storm the court. All that stuff's out there. So hop on over there. Lock dog tees, all this good shit. Check out the SGPN merch store. We're also brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on football and everything else. Look, their prop builder is second to none. Their motto is bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. You can easily deposit, get lightning fast payout using crypto. Head on over to mybookie.ag, and when you do, use our promo code TCESGPN for 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. That's mybookie.ag, promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Yes, college football is back and better than ever on Rhythm. Last season to start the first 2 weeks, they were 16-4 ATS, up 11.6 units. They also have NFL, MLB, WNBA, and golf. And look, Rhythm has just introduced a leaderboard with weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. Track 5 bets on the same type from any model that you build, and you could win $1,000. So what are you doing, folks? Jump on over there. Get your free 7-day trial period today. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. All right, we are back. California Golden Bears at 22, and now we hop down to 21, and I got the Indiana Hoosiers. Now I know what you can be saying. You said you didn't rank Ohio State. It'll all work itself out. Ohio State will play better opponents coming up, and then we've done this for years. It'll work itself out. But right now, Indiana has played two FBS schools. Be it one of them is not very good in the FBS, but the other one, Old Dominion, looked pretty fucking awesome on Saturday. So I have the Hoosiers at 21. They're one of the only schools. So if you have not played a Power 5, most teams I feel like played a Power 5 and an FCS. There are a few schools in this area here where they have not played a Power 5, but they've played 2 FBS schools. And that is, you're going to see a couple other teams in the mix because they did that, which is which is harder. There's more of a threat to losing those games than, say, taking on a shitty FCS school. So yes, I have the Hoosiers at 21. At number 20, I got the USC Trojan men. Much like Indiana, they did not play an FCS. They played Missouri State, who also just won at Marshall this past week. And they played Georgia Southern, who is 0-2, but Georgia Southern did start their season on the road at Fresno and at USC, out about as far as they could possibly go, short of Hawaii, to play those games. So I have the Trojan men, though, at number 20, no FCS. They've been dominant in both performances. Mac, do you want to wait until the end of the top 25, or do you want to break it down? Are you surprised at any of those from 20 to 25?
I probably wouldn't have had Indiana in there just because I think Cincinnati's schedule's such a joke. I know the ODU win was nice, but they got Kennesaw, second year in the FBS. I probably would have put Ohio State in there over them.
But Grambling, like Kennesaw would beat Grambling by 21 points.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like
maybe I'm being a little biased towards the brands because I value the Texas win a lot, just the way it happened. So,
but
hasn't done anything either.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I know that win will mean more. That's what's great is in the future. The why I believe in this system and why we've done this for years is I think like if once Texas starts winning and beating decent competition, that win means more and more. And same for every single team that you use. So like that Missouri State win, if they go 1-11, that ends up being a shitty win. If they would just use this formula, I think it all works.
If you keep it with your criteria, then yes, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I just don't want to. I don't want to award Cignetti. I
understand that. I understand that, but there's not many schools that have played at least 2 FBSs. You know what I mean? So it's like I gotta honor it. Yeah. At number 19, I have the Oregon Ducks. Now this one's tricky because they did play an FCS, and but to me they played an elite FCS. Like if Montana State plays Kennesaw State tomorrow, I think everyone here would take Montana State. Montana State is 0-2, by the way. They lost in double overtime to South Dakota State. Which is an awesome FCS if you are not familiar. So the way they beat Oklahoma State 66-3 or whatever the fuck it was unbelievable. And then like I said, the Montana State win means that's probably the best FCS win you can have on the board right now because no one played North Dakota State and no one played South Dakota State in the FBS. So the Ducks at number 19, and obviously with that ass whooping, that's the most impressive Power 5 on Power 5 win the whole fucking season so far.
Yeah, I mean, when you have 150 yards of offense 3 minutes into the game, it's pretty impressive. Yeah. So I got the Ducks at 19. At 18, I got the Illinois Fighting Illini. Why do I have them ahead of the Ducks? Because they hit the road. Yes, they played a terrible FCS in Western Illinois. One of the bottom 15 FCSs probably. So I mean that is but they hit the road, even though it was not, dude. I was disappointed by Duke's crowd, by the way. Oh, they sucked. What was that?
Dude, you have a top 15 team coming in. What the fuck, dude? A year or two ago, and they've had a great home record over the past couple of years. But man,
yeah,
that like it's almost like you got like Utah is going to be on here in a minute, and Utah played at the Rose Bowl. But I thought Duke's was worse than the Rose Bowl's crowd.
Well, especially because Duke just won 9 games too. They
for like the past couple of years, they've been good for like 4 straight years. So
yeah, and it's a long shot for an ACC team to get in at large and Big 12 to get in at large. But like I felt like Duke could be an at large team or an at large contender if they had won that game. Not anymore, but like. Going into that game, we're like, hey, if they win this game, they go 10-2, maybe they have a case come January. But no, that crowd sucked.
Yeah. But Rob, the problem is they played Western Illinois, which is a terrible FCS. Had they played a better FCS, I think it would have been a little different. Number 18, the Illini. At number 17, I have those same Utah Utes that I just talked about. At UCLA, now I guess you could say Duke is probably going to be better than UCLA, but here's the difference: Cal Poly has beaten an FBS in the past decade. Cal Poly is a more respectable program than Western Illinois is, so that's what's given them the slight nod here. Although I think you could argue that I don't feel very. I think I would lay points with Duke against UCLA. Would you?
Yeah, I think UCLA sucks, but. It was impressive the way Utah
and the way they beat them too. Yeah,
it wasn't like they just went through the motions. No, they kicked their teeth in right from literally the opening kickoff and just dominated the line of scrimmage and choked them out, made them tap out.
Yeah. So at 17, the Utah Utes. At number 16, I have the Miami Hurricanes, and it was tricky doing this one because they have the win against Notre Dame, and Notre Dame hasn't played, right? And then they have Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah.
But Bethune-Cookman did play in FBS week 1. So they played back-to-back FBS schools. Bethune did. This is another one where I feel like you can make the case that a win against San Jose State for Texas is better for the resume for Ohio State than Notre Dame not playing anybody. But I also think Bethune, we haven't seen them play an FCS team yet, but they historically have not been good. This is a little taboo, but to me, it was just the way in the Notre Dame game, they kind of dominated that game. So I have them at 16. I do think this is maybe the biggest question mark I have on the show, because I think you could argue that, but with Notre Dame having a bye week, it made it kind of tricky. But they kind of dominated. They led that thing wire to wire, right?
They did. My only pushback would be, what's the difference between Miami and Ohio State?
Yeah, no. The difference would be what the Bethune played in FBS the week before. That's my only difference, would be that we haven't really seen the sample size from Bethune against an FCS. But yeah, that's fair. And I knew that coming in there. And also Notre Dame playing nobody. You're sitting there saying, well,
yeah, they haven't played another game.
Yeah. So I thought that was honestly the biggest stretch of this exercise on this whole thing, was probably that. At number 15, though, I have Saudi Arabia State, aka Florida State. This one, I think the way they beat Alabama's ass.
Yeah.
Right. It's different than the way Ohio State beat Texas to me, or the way Miami beat Notre Dame. They whooped their ass more. Like, Notre Dame still had a chance to win that game. Texas still had a chance to push that game to overtime. Florida State just took it to Alabama. So I'm giving them more credit there. Also, Alabama looked very good against ULM, who did look good week 1, winning 29-0. Texas A&M Commerce is a fucking joke. That's a really shitty FCS. I don't know that you can have a shittier FCS, considering they just jumped up from D2, just 2 years ago. But I just think the way they beat Bama was more impressive than the Miami or Ohio State thing. How about you?
I agree. If throwing in the eye test, I mean, just they whipped him at the line of scrimmage. They broke their will. I agree. Florida State had the most impressive. Well, I shouldn't say the most impressive week 1, because another team went to Death Valley and won. But in terms of just like statement win on their home field, Florida State was the most impressive win. Yeah.
I'm with you. So we agree there. All right. At number 14, let's go to the likes of the TCU Horned Frogs. Much like Notre Dame, they didn't play last week, but they have a road win, and I deem it the third best road win.
Yeah.
Because, and here was the logic on this, was that, what did I say the other 2 road wins were? It was the Rose Bowl and Wallace Wade, right? Those are half empty crowds. Carolina was lit, dude.
It was on fire.
That place was on fire. So like, you went in there, and the way, I know you dominated in the same vein that Illinois and Utah dominated, but to me, it was a much tougher road environment. That is the real logic on having TCU, not UTCU. TCU at number 14.
Carolina turned around and won a road game this weekend.
Exactly. So at number 14, TCU Horned Frogs. At number 13, the Vanderbilt Commodores.
Diego.
Oh, I mean, going into a lethal environment, even though we know Virginia Tech is probably not going to be that good, but it's still a very hard place to win,
especially in prime time.
Yeah, and another thing is Charleston Southern, even though they're 0-2, they played 2 FBSs, and they were only down 3-0 to Coastal Carolina at like 10-minute mark in the 4th quarter. I think that should buy you some respect a little bit, because Coastal, even though I do think they suck, they're an FBS team. And that was that final score 13-0. So I think that alone right there, considering the environment in Lane Stadium, and then we don't know about Charleston Southern essentially because they haven't played an FCS yet, but they look pretty good on Saturday night. So yeah, give me them at number 13. At number 12, I got the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. A lot. What's that?
They have a good road win.
Great road win. Gut check game against Colorado, where talk about going outside of your environment. Crazy altitude. not knowing what to expect from the Buffs, but also then they come back home. They don't have their starting quarterback. They take on a Gardner-Webb team that just beat a top 25 FCS team in Western Carolina. So to me, there's a little meat on the bone with the FCS opponent and the road win going cross country. So Yellow Jackets at number 12. At number 11, I got the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. This one's tricky because you're like, wait, they haven't played any road opponents, but they did play two schools in the FBS, and both those schools have been very good in the FBS lately. But also, they had major leads in both games. They only won by 3 against Ohio, but they were up 17 in that game. And Ohio just beat West Virginia. Yes, Miami, Ohio has not won an FBS game yet, but they were at Wisconsin and at Rutgers. So I don't hit them too bad. Are you surprised I had Rutgers at number 11?
Maybe a little bit, just because they haven't had a road win. I probably would put, I don't know. They comparing Indiana's 2 home wins to theirs is not even close. I mean, Ohio and Miami of Ohio both played in the MAC championship last year. And then Ohio U really validated themselves beating the Mountaineers this last weekend with Navarro. And I mean, everybody knows how good he is. So that was a really good win on opening night. Maybe I'd put them a little bit behind the teams that have actually won a hostile road environment like TCU and Vandy.
The problem is those teams, well, TCU only played 1 game, but Vandy and some of the other ones have played an FCS. So it's like, what do you value? Yeah. Like Charleston Southern, I don't think is going to be a great FCS. I think they're going to be middle of the road. So, I mean, you are like, to me, Montana State has proven year in, year out that like, okay, we know that that's going to be a good opponent. I don't know. It's all subjective. That's why, but I will tell you, like, Rutgers should be like, both those wins should mean something. That's a harder schedule than a lot of teams have played.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So anyway, at number 11, the Scarlet Knights. At number 10, I got the Tulane Green Wave. They hit the road to Mobile in a game, in a trap game, take on South Alabama. Hung on and won that thing with 35-33, but they did have a double-digit lead in that game. And week 1, they beat a Power 5 in Northwestern. Northwestern did beat Western Illinois and beat them bad on Friday night. So the Green Wave at number 10. Are you surprised to see the Green Wave in the top 10?
No, because context, Tulane beat the shit out of Northwestern too. I mean, it was never close. They hit them in the mouth right off the bat, then won a road game in Mobile against probably a bowl team.
Yeah. We're going to get to the rest of the top 10 in a second here, but I want to let the good folks know that the college football experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes. Look, Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5, get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code TCESGPN. And look, you can play fantasy pick'em. You can win up to 500 times the amount of money you enter, or you can just simply pick higher or lower on your favorite player's stats. Look, available in a ton of different states as well. So get on over there. Once again, brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5, get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Novig. Yes, Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. Since Novig is an exchange, you're getting some of the best prices in the market. Novig is available in 35 different states as well, 35 plus states. Download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5 if you use our promo code SGPN. Get in on that action, folks, with Novig. Promo code SGPN. All right, next up, we are going to number 9, Sparty, Michigan State. First off, they have yet to play an FCS, and they just beat Boston College, a Power 5. Although it wasn't super convincing, it was still a night power. I mean, BC scored 66 the week prior.
For sure.
Yeah, that was one of the better games of the Saturday. But then they also took down Western Michigan. Western Michigan is winless, but they were in overtime against North Texas. Double overtime loss to North Texas. So I gave the Sparties number 9 here because like I said, every other FBS every other Power 5 win on Power 5, they have it scheduled with an FCS. This is the first one where they don't have an FCS. They played Western Michigan. So I think that is why I validated them at number 9. At number 8, I have the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Similar situation as, I know it was a Nebraska crowd as Tennessee, right? But they did play a Power 5 on the road, or I'm sorry, on a neutral site in Arrowhead Stadium, even though it wasn't really fucking neutral. And then they did not play an FCS, although I believe they have one scheduled for this week. They played Akron. So no matter what, I think they're going to drop, considering they're playing fucking Houston Christian, a terrible FCS. So they will not be number 8 next week. But look, they're number 8 right now. They destroyed Akron. And yeah, I think that's the logic here is right now, Cincinnati did look good against Bowling Green, beating them by double digits. So that's the logic right now. Once again, I know like week 1 and week 2, I tend to think historically when I've released this, you get so many people questioning it, some 1-stars and shit, but it works itself out. You know what I mean? Like, so if Akron continues to suck and if Cincinnati goes 5-7, this resume gets worse and they get, even though if they're winning, they keep dropping back. It's the opposite of the current way they do things. Well, they're number 8. They won. They're going to stay at number 8. No, you can still win and drop back. And I think that's the way they should do it personally. Anyway, number 7, I have the Pussy Pack. This is how you know I'm not a hater. The Pussy Pack actually have a pretty damn good resume, considering they ECU just destroyed Campbell, who looked all right week 1 against Rhode Island. And then Virginia, when what they did to Coastal. So they're 2-0. They didn't play an FCS. The Pussy Pack. I think the logic here is, Virginia is probably in the same vein as Boston College, right? Mm-hmm. To compare it to Michigan State's, and then East Carolina's a lot better than Western Michigan, and it's a rivalry game, and they won that. So I have the Pussy Pack at number 7. What do you think about that?
I was going to push back on Nebraska a little bit just because I treated that as a home game. I would have put Michigan State or I would have put Tulane above them just because they have a road win and a Power 5 win at home. So, but I agree. NC State here at number 7, they have a good resume. They have 2 good wins against what I think is going to be 2 bowl teams. I think Virginia is good enough to get to a bowl after watching them through 2 weeks.
Me too. I think that's one we might be off on from the preseason. At number 6, I have the Ole Miss Rebels because they won in a very toxic environment. And then week 1 was against Georgia State. Now, Georgia State is 0-2, but they're an FBS. And I think the fact winning at Kentucky, who had won the previous week against Toledo, who's a good team.
Yeah.
I think is a better road win than mixed with an FBS opponent. Once again, no one else has that with a nice road win that I've mentioned so far. So, yeah, Abner, I had Miami in the top 15, man. I had him at 15, but this is a resume based thing. Bethune-Cookman is fucking trash. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Notre Dame didn't play anybody last week. So that win will look better when Notre Dame, I mean, if you think I'm a hater when it comes to Miami, you should see me on NC State. You know what I mean? Like NC State is one that I will never normally admit, but I'm trying to take this from a neutral point of view. So at 6, Ole Miss. At number 5, I have the Auburn Tigers. Now this is a trick. The Baylor win against SMU is so big because Auburn did stick it to Baylor in Waco, Texas. And then they did play Ball State, which is a FBS, even though they're clinging on to that.
They're so bad.
But I think when you look at it, like Ball State, Georgia State, they both were pretty shitty teams last year. Similar. I do think Georgia State's probably going to end up better than Ball State this year, but at the same time, the Baylor win is huge, man. Huge. Baylor's win at SMU really helps Auburn's resume here. So I have Auburn at number 5 there in the nation. And at number 4, I have Hail State. Oh shit, you're getting a lot of these SEC teams. Well, they have a road win against a rival, kind of like NC State, but NC State didn't hit the road. They hosted ECU. They went to Southern Miss, who did whoop Jackson State's ass this past week, and then beat Arizona State at home. So I have Hail State at number 4. It's, I think, one of the better resumes in the sport right now. What do you make of Hail State there at number 4?
I agree. They may even be too low. You can make the argument. The win at Southern Miss, who we think is pretty damn good, may have a chance to win the Sun Belt, and then beating Arizona State at home. So 2 solid wins here to start Levy. You're number 2.
Yeah. And then at number 3, I have the LSU Tigers. Now, I will say this.
They didn't look good last week.
I know, but they beat La Tech.
Yeah.
They beat them by double digits still. But I will say I did, as I was compiling this, I thought for sure like LSU deserved to be top 5. And then I was like, but what if Clemson's not any good?
Yeah.
Because Clemson didn't look good against Troy. I'm like, we're valuing that win on the road in a toxic environment. But yeah, I think I have to. I'm still just going to say that environment, with it being that environment, and the fact Clemson did find a way to come back and win that game against Troy, and the fact they didn't play an FCS, and La Tech is a team that made a bowl a season ago, even though it was kind of wacky how they made a bowl. I have the Tigers at number 3. At number 2, I have the Iowa State Cyclones because they've played 3 games. I was going to have them at number 1 had K-State just beat Army, but they didn't. So K-State. And another thing is their FCS South Dakota lost to Lamar.
I know.
But Iowa did beat Albany.
Yeah.
And you've played 3 games, so you have more of a data point than everybody else. So UNLV, Iowa State have an advantage, but they've looked good in all 3 games. So yeah, Clones at number 2. Are you surprised at that?
No, that 3-0. I think we all think K-State. Yeah, they're a dumpster fire right now, but still a talented team. And then you beat Iowa, so you beat 2 rivals in the first 3 weeks. You beat an FCS traditional contender. Their resume is just not as good as the team at number 1. I don't think.
But they do have 2 Power 5s, and nobody else has played 2 Power 5s. That's the argument about putting them number 1, right?
But the other ones played the team that was the G5 representative in the playoffs. So I might as well count Boise as a Power 5.
Yep. Look, number 1 is the South Florida Bulls, and I do believe if anybody, and this is how I know the AP is such a crock of shit. If you remove South Florida from that, if you erase that logo and put, I don't know, if you put Notre Dame's, if you put if you put any other SEC or Big Ten or even Miami or Clemson, if you put that on their resume, they would be number 1 in the nation right now. And that's how you know this thing is crooked and full of shit, because beating Boise in a game that they were dogs in, and then beating Florida in a game that they were dogs in, and really kind of in both games, kind of had the lead for a good chunk of it too. Like I know Boise was up early. I know Florida in a minute, at one point took like a 3-point lead or whatever. But I feel like still is a good amount of time considering both games against decent competition where they've had the lead, probably more than not. So I think South Florida deserves to be number 1 in the nation as of right now, with Iowa State right on their ass, just because they've played 3 games and they've played 2 Power 5s where South Florida's only played 1. But guess what? South Florida's going to be playing 2 because they're taking on the U this weekend at Hard Rock Stadium. So do you agree with me having them number 1?
Yeah. I don't see how you don't have them number 1 to win at the Swamp. I mean, everybody was talking about Florida being a playoff team. They put a graphic out. Could this team go 12-0 this year? They go into the Swamp and win, and then they beat Boise, the G5 representative and the best G5 program over the last 20 years, by 30. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have them there, you're just a hater on USF at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. And that's what I'm saying. Like you look at that and they're like, what did I say? They're at 18, 17, 16, something like that. It's just ridiculous. It's just like, did you even watch the fucking game? Do you even know who they played week 1? You know what I mean? Like
Especially with where they have had Florida ranked. It's like, well, how did they not at least be in the top 10?
Yeah. Well, then Boise was ranked in the AP's version. Boise was what, top 15 last week, right? Or what? I forget what number they were, but they were definitely ranked. And then
top 25.
Yeah. So there's only one team based on their shitty little AP rankings that has 2 top 25 wins, and they're just completely disrespecting their own rankings.
Yeah.
It's just not consistent. So, all right, look, now I have, you think we're done? No, we're not done. We're 50 minutes in, but there's still, I'm going to try this new thing called the Land Down Under, folks. Moneyline Max about to go to the Land Down Under.
Yeah, look at this music.
It's just nice. It's very nice. It's nice music because it doesn't get me sued. All right, look, I thought I'd take you to the Land Down Under, start a new segment where I just quickly rapid fire hit you with some shit where there's really no wrong answer, but I want you to state your opinion on why you think. So I'm just going to hit you with 12 questions regarding this year's college football season and maybe a little bit of next year's college football season. So
let's do it.
With that being said, let's start the Land Down Under. Moneyline Mac, next year you have 4 options here. In the Land Down Under, will Nico be the quarterback of UCLA next year, or will he hit the portal? Or will Avery Johnson hit the portal and leave Kansas State? Or will Gio Lopez be the starting quarterback at North Carolina next year, or Malik Washington, Maryland's starting quarterback? If you don't know, which one of these 4 do you think will be gone next year? You can't answer all of them, but how many, if so?
All the above. If I only can choose one.
I mean, you can choose what you think.
Malik Washington won't be at Maryland. He'll be at a blue blood next year. So that one, I would be surprised if Gio Lopez was back at Carolina as well. Especially with the way it started. I think that they're going to upgrade after seeing what they were on Monday night. The first 2, I kind of feel like they are going to stay where they're at.
I don't know about Nico, man. If UCLA goes 2-10, I could totally see him being like, "Fuck this, I'm out."
Where's he going to go?
No, some of those other schools, right? We'll take
UCLA might say we need you to go.
I think Avery Johnson's gone, dude. I know he's the only reason why I would say maybe you're right is he's from Kansas.
Yeah.
But I think he's fucking gone personally. Or maybe they switch OCs, maybe Wells gets fired.
Yeah.
Something ain't sitting right, I feel like, in that locker room. So I think there's when I was doing this exercise or writing this up, I was like, I actually think there's a little bit more of a shot that Lopez could be back at Carolina. He might not be starting, but he could be back. Whereas I think Avery Johnson and Malik Washington were the 2 that stood out to me.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I had to say which one's most likely, Washington, especially with Loxley on the hot seat, and Maryland's about to go 1-8 in the Big Ten after what we saw against Northern Illinois the other night.
Yeah. All right. Question number 2 of the Land Down Under is, which group of 5 team between these 4 do you think is most likely to make the college football playoff? You have Appalachian State with Dow Loggins looking pretty good 2 games in. Troy Calhoun and the Air Force Falcons. No one's talking about them in the Mountain West there. Yeah. The James Madison Dukes, despite losing a game to Louisville already, and the Ohio Bobcats, who also have lost a game at Rutgers, but they do have a Power 5 win against West Virginia.
Yeah, don't remind me. I'm going to go James Madison. They got to figure out the quarterback, which one they're going to go with. Whether it's Sluka or
Barnett.
Yeah, Barnett. I almost said Braxton. He's over at Southern Miss, but yeah, they got to figure out who's going to be their quarterback. They can't play both, but I think Chesney's group on the line of scrimmage, I was impressed with them against Louisville. I thought Louisville dressed that game up at the end. They gave them everything they could handle. They got a good Sun Belt schedule.
The chat. Some of them saying Ohio, some of them saying Air Force. This is the fun, part of doing this is I think, and I think there's still value on App State. Remember they host JMU. Yeah. That's why I kind of put both them on there, but they didn't look good against, they didn't look great against Lindenwood. They look good against Charlotte, but we'll see this week as they head to the Rock, the other Rock, to take on Southern Miss. Battle of the Rocks. All right, next up is most overrated, undefeated team so far. But if you had to choose just between these four, it doesn't mean you're saying they're overrated. You're just saying between these four: Penn State, Georgia, USC, and Texas Tech. Which is the one that you say, man, I don't know about them? Do you have one that stands out, or do you think it could? I mean, and you could say two if you wanted to, or three or whatever. Like, but is there one that stands out more than the other?
Yeah, the fourth one. I mean, they played Arkansas, fucking Pine Bluff, and Kent goddamn State.
Texas Tech is referring to. Yeah.
I gotta see it. I know what I'm getting with those other three. Georgia with Kirby, Penn State. I know.
Penn State was up 13-0 to Florida International with what? 10 minutes in the third.
But I just saw this with Ohio State and Michigan the last 2 years, where they went through the motions in the preseason non-con that they did. I know Penn State's going to be there at the end. Texas Tech, I got to see it.
Yeah, it's the chat. Some saying USC, some saying Georgia. I wonder if they're Vol fans. Next up, we got this one. Most likely to make the playoffs. Just to make the playoffs here. Not it doesn't matter. The positioning here. South Florida. They got Miami on deck and they got the whole AAC schedule. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, who are 2-0, hosting Clemson this weekend. The Minnesota Golden Gophers, also 2-0, and the BYU Cougars, who are 2-0. Who do you think is most likely? Because I actually think South Florida's conference schedule's got some potential bumps.
Yeah,
and they have to pretty much go like. You would think 10-2, like you could probably afford, but it depends who the loss would be to in the conference. I'm curious. What do you think that answer is?
So what, theoretically, let's say South Florida loses at Miami. They're a 17-point underdog. I know they just wanted the Swamp as a 17-point underdog. Can they do it again? Probably not. Can they get through the AAC with one loss after that? They got spots at what? Memphis, at Navy, at North Texas. I think that's a tall task. I probably would go Georgia Tech just because they get Clemson at home. They have the nice ACC schedule, and they have an auto bid in their league.
And don't forget, USF also hosts UTSA and Rice. I think.
Yeah, they have a tough schedule. I would probably say Georgia Tech because I don't think Minnesota can get there in the Big Ten, and BYU I don't think they can duplicate what they did with the Magic in the Big 12. The Big 12 is such a crapshoot.
Yeah. I thought that was I was trying to answer these myself after just randomly coming up with them. This one I actually really struggled with. I was like, I came away with Georgia Tech as well. If they beat Clemson here, I think that would, they have a better schedule than that's probably the best schedule Georgia Tech's had in a while. Yeah. So yeah. All right. Next up, we got this. Which is more likely for week 2? Wyoming. These are all schools that are hosting Power 5 schools. Wyoming is to beat Utah. Temple to beat Oklahoma. Missouri State to beat SMU, or Arkansas State to beat Iowa State.
I think it's got to be Wyoming over Utah because this is the second road spot in 3 weeks for the Utah already. And we know what Laramie is. Laramie's magic at home,
and it's coach proof. I mean, even before bowl, Laradice has just a way of there's magic up there in those mountains.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to see Temple. There's going to be nobody at that game. Missouri State will be lit. Arkansas State, I just don't know. I think it's Wyoming over Utah.
I think I agree there. Just that place has just done it so many times in my life that I'm like, okay. All right. Next up, we got this. Most likely week 2 upset here. Eastern Kentucky. These are ones that are hitting the road. At Kentucky, Western Michigan at Illinois, Oregon State at Texas Tech, or Louisiana at Mizzou. Which one do you think is the most likely to happen percentage wise?
I would say Louisiana over Missouri, off the border war. I mean, we saw the way Missouri celebrated after that game. We've seen Missouri under Drinkwitz have games where they've played with their food against Middle a couple years ago and other games. So I would say the Raging Cajuns would have the best shot to beat Missouri on the road.
For me, it was either that or Western Michigan.
Yeah.
I thought those two, but I could also, I in my head, I was like, it wouldn't shock me if Creighton got Kentucky. They looked like shit last week, but
after he lost to LIU,
yeah, it wouldn't shock me, but
actually, I'm gonna flip flop because we just saw it with Army. You drop an FCS game at home, then you go on the road as a heavy dog, and then you pull off a stunner. It would not shock me if Eastern Michigan beat Kentucky.
I could just see Kentucky being like, "Oh, we got a bye week. This team just lost to fucking Long Island."
Yeah, coming off that crazy Ole Miss game, kitchen sink game.
Yeah. Shout out to Mastro in the chat. Finally catching a live stream. Awesome show, fellas. How about them San Marcos Bobcats, baby? Great win, even though I lost a lot of money on it. Because I did take those Roadrunners. But you know what? I'm glad you won. Sticking to those filthy dome Roadrunner bullshit, I mean, I'm glad you won now that it's past me losing my money. I got over that. If you had asked me this on Saturday, would have got a little worse. Next up here, what about this one? More likely, Power 5 on Power 5 or ranked on ranked, I think / Power 5 because South Florida. But Georgia Tech beats Clemson. Vanderbilt beats South Carolina. Arkansas beats Ole Miss, or South Florida beats Miami. What is the most likely one here? I think all of these. Well, no, I think some of these are 6.5 point spreads.
Yeah, Vandy's 5.5. Arkansas, I think, is 8.5, and then Georgia Tech is 3.5, and obviously the USF being the big one.
What do you think is most likely for this week?
I mean, I know that Vegas is telling us it's Georgia Tech. Even though I don't know if they're going to get it done with Haynes King being still banged up a little bit and Clemson kind of just going through the motion so far. I think it's got to be Georgia Tech with what we've seen under Brent Key being a giant killer as a home dog. And Clemson has dropped games in ACC road games early in the year. So it shouldn't shock anybody if Georgia Tech beat Clemson this weekend.
Yeah. Vanderbilt. Well, no, Vanderbilt's had their problems with winning in Williams-Brice Stadium.
Yeah,
they've actually been awful. But I know Diego Pavia apparently that was the game that he played his worst last season. So I know in the off season he's had this one circled. I think more than Virginia Tech or some of these other ones. I think this is the one that he played pretty shitty, and he's just, okay, we're gonna figure this out. Also, I mean, I don't think South Carolina deserves a top 11 after you saw how Virginia Tech looked. Vanderbilt looked way better. That's something about this poll. Vanderbilt's not in the top 25, by the way, and South Carolina's number 11. Right? I mean, how ridiculous is that? One played neutral. Vanderbilt goes 2 lane and wins by 20, 30, whatever the fuck that final number was. Complete disrespect for my Commodores and Diego pissing Pavia. All right, next up. All right, which FCS is most likely to win between this? Eastern Kentucky at Marshall. Merrimack, who almost got Kent State. They're heading to Kennesaw.
Yeah.
Monmouth heading to the Clit to take on Tim Albin's bunch. And New Hampshire at Ball State, which I think on a preview we might have talked about. Which one do you think is most likely? And I'm curious, how many do you think can win this outright?
I think all 4 can win outright.
Yeah, I think so too.
This might be a money line round robin.
That we probably should. The more I think about this, which one do you feel most confident in not happening? Like the upset not happening? Is it Kennesaw?
Probably Marshall, just because they just dropped a home game to Missouri State. I don't think they're going to lose back to back, but goddamn, I mean,
but EKU is probably better than Missouri State was in the FCS.
Agreed. And the Merrimack already almost beat Kent State. To your point, Monmouth has looked impressive 2-0. Charlotte struggles to score, and then New Hampshire. Is New Hampshire going to be favored in that game?
I think New Hampshire's going to whoop them, dude. I think that
would upset.
I mean, Ball State's got. I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is not a bad money line round robin there.
Yeah. Hilarious.
Yeah. So which one do you think is most probable to get the win? You think is New Hampshire?
New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Then probably Monmouth.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, that's tough. That's tough. All right, only a few more of these, then we'll get out of here. But what about this FCS battle here? These are all against Power Fives. That's the difference here. William and Mary is at Virginia. Towson is at Maryland. Youngstown State's at Michigan State. And Abilene Christian's at TCU. What is the most likely outcome for a upset happening between those four, do you think?
Well, real quick, I want to look at the look ahead. So just looking ahead, Virginia, because I mean, you want to catch somebody on a look ahead spot. So week 4, pulling it up, Virginia has Stanford, not really a look ahead. Maryland has Wisconsin, that could be a look ahead. Michigan State's off the overtime win. They have at USC.
Oh, that might be the one. Yeah.
Or TCU has SMU, the Iron Skillet, the final one. I'm going to go Youngstown. I'm going to go Youngstown at Sparty just because Sparty likes to play close games, hasn't blown anybody out. I'll go them.
Another element to this, though, is what Loxley was at. He's a grad from Towson, and then Mike London is a former UVA football player, but also Virginia coach. So like he was fired by Virginia. I don't know. I think I think Virginia's offense is too good, though. I think you're. I think I'm with you. Go Youngstown. I think that would be the one, just with an overtime game and USC on deck. I think
Youngstown's done it over the years. I mean, they won at Pitt one year.
They did win at Pitt. All right, next up. Which first year coach has been more impressive between Brian Smith at Ohio, Casey Keeler at Temple, Jason Eck at New Mexico, or Matt Entz at Fresno State?
God, they all have been really good. Brian Smith at Ohio. I mean, they beat my Mountaineers, and they almost went to Rutgers and won on opening night against Schiano. I know he's got Navarro back, but that program picked up right where they left off when Alban left. So I'll go Brian Smith. But I mean, Keeler's flipped that culture quick, and so is Eck. Eck is
And Fresno. How about Fresno beating Georgia Southern and in Corvallis? I mean, they had the blemish week 0.
That was tough matchup. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I'll go Brian Smith, but I mean, it's all 4 are great.
Yeah. All right, just a couple more here. First coach to be fired, Mac, right now between Mike Gundy, Brent Pry, Billy Napier, and Tony Elliott.
I don't think it's going to be Elliott. I don't think.
If Elliott loses to William and Mary, he might get fired.
Yeah. Billy Napier, just because they had the highest expectations. If they lose at LSU, they lose at Miami. They're 1-3. Then all of a sudden, what? Who do they have after that? Do they have Texas after that?
They have A&M or I forget which one comes first.
Oh, here we go. At LSU, at Miami, Texas, at A&M. They could be 1-5.
Yeah.
If you're 1-5 at Florida, I don't see how you make it. I don't care how hard your schedule is.
But how about Gundy? He's got a starting. Hoss Henny's out for what, 4 to 6 weeks?
I don't think they'd fire Gundy mid-year. I think he's one of their own.
They'll show him his respect, the fact he played there and everything.
They'll give him at least his senior day at the end of the year, and then I'll be like, all right, Gundy, it's time to go. But yeah, it's definitely for me Napier or Pry. I mean, if Pry loses to Virginia Tech and they're 0-3, he's got to be gone.
Yeah. Shout out to Rob Donaldson. Yeah, some bozo had Kirk Ferentz on that list. These people are so dumb.
I was like,
Ferentz is one of the best coaches in college football. He's a top 15 coach in college football.
Did you see what I replied? I said there's a better chance of Ferentz getting a statue built this year than him being fired. Like, what are you talking about?
Unbelievable. Like, he'll just because he lost by 3 to Iowa State.
Yeah, everybody's crowned a top 10 team.
I don't understand it. Like, okay, because the offense doesn't look sharp, he doesn't focus on that. He focuses on his awesome defense, and it will be awesome again, and they'll still be in the mix.
Fucks.
All right. Last one here. First coach to be hired next year between these 4: Neil Brown, Dana Holgerson, Pat Fitzgerald, Ed Orgeron, who I just saw. The goddamn state of Louisiana. You know, he was going through a divorce. Ed Orgeron. LSU had this big buyout, and apparently, the wife wanted that money from the buyout, the ex-wife, and there was also I guess he didn't get all of that buyout because of the Louisiana taxes because it's a state school. Either way, Orgeron was pissed about the amount of money wifey was getting. He appealed. He had that hearing, and he lost again. Is Eddie O need money? I feel like I don't know, but at the same time, maybe it's just general principles. This bitch didn't coach the team. She didn't coach the team. What are you going with here, man? As the first to be hired out of those four,
I'll go Fitzgerald. He won that bullshit lawsuit. He's good to go. You just put
the question is, well, hold on. I'm going to ask you this for two questions. And what team? I don't think Fitz will take a group of 5 job. I think Fitz wants a power job. I think he kind of wants to stay in that area that he's known. Cincinnati, maybe if Ferentz did retire at Iowa, we were joking about that on the TCE account. Is Pat Fitzgerald the next Iowa head coach if Kirk steps down? I mean, I was trying to think in that area what other coach. I mean, Maryland would. I don't think Maryland would go for Fitz though. It's not sexy.
He didn't really fit there. There's not really
Wisconsin could.
I think that they would go with Eck. If Eck continues to play the way that they're playing, I think Eck could get that job. I don't know what job he would get, but I feel like he should be on the short list.
Why do I feel like Cincinnati makes sense?
Cincinnati, he'd be a great fit.
Well, just think about this. Fickle did great with them. He's a defensive coach. They went away from that, went with an offensive coach with Satterfield. So maybe they go back to their roots and get Fitz. But would because I was thinking about this. I was like, okay, what are the other jobs that could open? Florida wouldn't. Arkansas? Would Arkansas? Maybe.
I feel like they'll go with one of their Southern guys.
I don't think Fitz would take the Arkansas gig. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's not many Midwest jobs coming open. The more and more you think about it, but yeah, I watch out for that Cincinnati gig. I think Fitzgerald would be a perfect fit there. He kind of fits that culture. You just threw the first 2 names on there just because I'm a West Virginia guy.
I did want that in there. Well, how about between those first 2, Neil Brown and Holgerson? Who's coaching? Who's a head coach first?
Neil. Dana's got too many skeletons. I love Dana. He's got too many skeletons in the closet. He's in a good.
But here's the thing. I think he would take like a crazy job. Like if ULM or like something opened, I think Holgerson would be like, "Fuck it, let me go and be a head coach again." Whereas where I feel like Neil might want the perfect job.
Yeah, Neil should try and get one of those Sunbelt jobs. Shit, but Dana would be good at one of those Sunbelt jobs, especially in Florida with how well he recruited at Florida.
Would Dana Holgerson, he's from Iowa, I believe. Well, he played at Iowa Wesleyan for Mike Leach. Would he take the Akron or Kent State job? He might.
He's crazy enough. He might.
He might.
He don't give a fuck.
See, Neil needs Troy to open, which I don't think will open this year, but I guess it's possible with them being 1-1. I mean, what other Sunbelt jobs could be? Coastal Carolina? Could you see Neil Brown at Coastal Carolina? I could yes. Actually.
Yes. Yeah. Sunbelt, he'd fit there. What about Fitzgerald at Virginia Tech?
I thought so, but they seem to be in love. I did the Too Deep podcast. Shout out to that. A lot of people seem to be liking the Gruden to Virginia Tech angle, which I think would be horrible, by the way.
I feel like he's waiting for an SEC job.
Arkansas, that's what some say, but
the money.
What about Orgeron? Where does he end up?
Yeah, Raging Cajuns. He's always meant to be a Raging Cajun.
Desmond needs to have a horrible year then.
Yeah.
I mean,
they lost to Rice.
La Tech is Sonny Cumby. La Tech.
Get Coach O at La Tech.
I was talking about this on Twitter though, and someone said like Orgeron, with him winning a Natty in 19, he's going to want a Power 5 job.
I don't know if he's got too many skeletons in his closet.
I was like, well, what Power 5 job? Like, would Arkansas hire Orgeron? That would be amazing.
Oh, it'd be great. Go Razorbacks.
what Power 5 job would actually would go for that?
He ain't getting a Power 5 job. How old is Coach O? He's like 62 now, right?
He's in his 60s. I know that.
Yeah, he ain't getting. job.
I mean, it would have to be like
he's 64.
Yeah, it would have to be like somewhere like completely. Like if well, I was gonna say maybe Mississippi State if what's his name had gone like 0-12 or something.
Yeah, no,
I just can't. I can't see anyone in the Big 12 like the shittiest. Who could be the? I mean, I don't think Fritz was fine at Houston. Even if he had a losing season, he'd be fine. I don't. Yeah,
Texas Tech, but I like.
No, they would not hire Orgeron though. They would go. Yeah. They would try to like. They got fuck you money. They would try to get Lincoln Riley or something. You know.
Yeah, Gruden or Lincoln Riley, Texas Tech.
Gruden to Texas Tech, I don't think would be a good fit. I think Cody Campbell's too smart. I don't think he would do that. I think it would be Lincoln Riley or maybe like a cutting edge new coach or something or a coordinator. But yeah, Orgeron's the mystery one, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else. What Orgeron to Georgia Southern? If they fire Clay Helton, who's 0-2 right now.
Yeah.
Would he take that though?
I don't think so. I think he wants to stay in Louisiana.
You know what it is though? I got it. I just figured it out. If Galesh leaves, which he's gonna leave, right?
South
Florida's open. I mean, he spends all of his time there. He's got his kids are on the staff at Miami. Come on, that's perfect.
Oh yeah,
that's perfect.
Right in Tampa.
I could totally see it.
Beautiful women all around him.
Totally see it.
Go Bulls.
There we go, folks. All right, that's our show. We will be back talking ball. Well, probably tomorrow. If not that, our pick show's Wednesday, but we might do a little highlight for the Thursday, Friday card tomorrow night. Moneyline Mac is on Twitter at Moneyline_Mac. I'm on Twitter at TheColBD. Don't forget to check out the FCS show, FCS College Football Experience. And remember, we pick every single game Wednesday night. Myself, Moneyline Mac, the Bet Detective, CJ Sullivan. We are the College Football Experience. YouTube.com/the College Experience. Looking forward to talking ball. And look, I'm going to keep this as a regular segment here. So pop quiz hot shot. Be ready for these fucking questions. All right. Till next time. Yeah. Check out the College Basketball Experience. Mac's got a bunch of interviews lined up and doing good work. And yeah.
Previews begin tomorrow night, baby.
I was looking at the November 3rd schedule already. I was looking at that college basketball season starting November 3rd. Can't wait. It's nothing better than when you got football and basketball going on at the same time. It's just like my wife hates me then. It's just like, honey, I can't hang out. I'm trying to watch this Colgate game's on. All right, folks, till next time, this is the College Football Experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And the whole team's looking and the whole world's looking with the cameras. Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And you know
that's good.
what you're getting 'cause the books we read.